Hi, my name is Rachel. Welcome to my channel, Learning with Boys. I have 4 boys, ages 10 to 19, and I've been homeschooling for 14 years. And I just been praying about this and had this thought about, really it sort of started out with the thought of, do I have to do it like that? And the Lord really laid it on my heart about being successful in your homeschool journey. And there's so many things that can fall under that, and I'm just going to go through some points, and I think it will help you whether you are starting on this homeschool journey or have been on it for a while. Because as I was thinking through this, I'm going to say a lot of things, but I want you to realize that I'm speaking to myself. I'm reminding myself of these thoughts too, because you do have to constantly tell yourself these things, okay? So let me start by really, as a Christian mom and a Christian family, as we decided to homeschool, I think the one thing that will help you have a successful homeschool is just seeking the Lord. Definitely in prayer. We need to pray over everything, even the curriculum, but pray over our children and their specific needs, and just seek wisdom from His Word and claim a verse or a chapter of the Bible that would help encourage you throughout the school year. Because we're not sufficient in ourselves. We need the Lord and we need His help to guide us through this journey. And He tells us that we can do all things through Him who strengtheneth us. And we need to look to Him for that strength, for that grace, for that guidance, and for that wisdom of making the right decisions and staying focused. And that leads me to my second point, is just being easily distracted. You usually think of your kids of like, don't get distracted. You got to stay focused. Well, sometimes as homeschool moms, we sort of are guilty of that also. And we need to stay focused and not get distracted in so many different things and not comparing ourselves. And I'm going to mention a few things that this can fall under. And one of the things that I think of often is just being distracted by curriculum. I mean, you would think that, okay, we prayed about it, we chose this curriculum, but yeah, we're easily distracted. It could be just another friend that we're talking to, and her homeschool journey just sounds so perfect and so wonderful. But each family is different. Just like what we've talked about, each one of our children are different, each family is different, and God has a purpose and a plan for each of us as an individual family. So what curriculum works for them may not work for you. And so that can be a distraction. Just watching YouTube. And I don't want to be a distraction. I want to be an encouragement. I do want to share our journey. And that's one reason I started this, is I'm like, oh my goodness, my baby's getting old and I'm not going to remember anything. So I thought, well, I'll start sharing what we're using and what we love. And I hope it encourages somebody, but everybody's family is different and everybody's journey is different. And everybody is in a different season. We haven't used the curriculum that we're using for my whole homeschool journey. I've used different things when my kids were younger, and I know that is what God had for us at that time. So that can lead to another thing. You might be using a particular, let's say, math curriculum, because that's the one everybody is like, there's got to be the perfect math curriculum, right? And maybe there is, but there may be one that works for your family that might be perfect. And if you find it and it's working and your kids are getting their math done, and yes, you're going to have to help them every once in a while. I think that's going to be true with any math curriculum. You're going to have to be patient. But if you find what is working for you and you switch because of that beautiful new curriculum that came out and everybody says this is the perfect curriculum and it didn't turn out as perfect for you, go back to what you were using. It's okay. It's not worth the stress of the family and the distraction that it's causing. So that would help with the success of the year of just staying on plan of what is working. Now, there are times that you're going to have to look around and think this is not working, whether it be math, whether it just be maybe you're trying to do a separate science and history for every child, and you're like, you can only do so much as a parent, and it's a little bit overwhelming with all the needs it's okay. You can combine. You can combine, and we've gone through that season where I know it was God's will for us to combine our history and our science, and we really enjoyed it. But I do know that God moved us to a different season of where my kids were more individualized and becoming more independent through that. But it was easier because they were older and they were becoming more independent. So I read a little thing, I know it was on social media, I don't remember where it was, but talking about you can't compare your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 20. And I thought, wow, that is so true, because I remember being a young homeschool mom and looking at these older women and their kids are like high school graduating and how successful they look to me. But we each have our own journey of what God has planned for us and our children. And that is one last thing I really want to talk about and think about. For your children, what is success? And for me personally, it's just having a relationship with the Lord. You know, I want them to learn, and I know they have a desire to learn. I mean, I've talked about interest-led learning and letting them pick and choose, but we do think it's important to teach and to train them in specific areas. But I think one of the most important things is guiding and directing them in the Word of God and giving them direction, talking to them about God's wisdom and God's truth. And they need to understand that there is a truth in this world, and they need to grow in their faith. And that's all done throughout the years. And you know what? That's gonna grow by whatever example that you're showing them. In the end, their success does depend on you. You're by example. What example am I giving to my boys? I pray that it's a godly example. I pray that it leads them to the Lord. I have failed plenty of times, but I hope that in everything I say and do, my reactions, and as a young mom, I know I failed in those areas, but God has helped me and strengthened me and matured me. And as parents, as homeschool teachers, our success is going to depend on our example. And I pray that God would give us the grace and strength to always be moving forward for the Lord, that our kids would see that and that they would see joy in that and they would want to follow after the Lord. And that would be success to me. You know, maybe they didn't make it to the highest math. Maybe they didn't remember every fact about history. But I do pray that they see the Lord in all those things, that they see the Lord in history, that they see the Lord in the science and the discoveries, that He's already talked about them in His Word. And that's my goal, is to teach and to train. So I just want to encourage you with those words. And like I said, it's been a long learning journey for myself. And I feel like I'm still learning and continuing. My youngest is 10, and every child is different, but just like every family. So that keeps you on your toes, keeps you learning a new way, learning to be patient. So, and they're watching, and I thank the Lord for the opportunity that He's given me and putting them in my life to help me grow. So I wanted to share what I determine as successful homeschooling. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and just keep your eyes on the Lord and encourage your children in the things of God. Thank you for watching.